Today I'm going to give a short screencast on images in OpenXML PresentationML. The specific request I had was information on how to delete an image from a presentation. I'll cover that, and in addition I'm going to cover just a little bit more information about how images are stored in a presentation. First, let's create a little presentation and let's put an image into it. Call it test. I'll click to add the first slide. I don't need these two placeholders. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to insert a screen clipping. This is an easy way to add an image. Let's see, what shall I clip on this screen? I'll clip this little section of the screen down here. And there we have a image in our first slide of this presentation. Let's go look at the structure of this PPTX and also look at the markup. Save it, close it. I'm going to look at this PPTX in the OpenXML Package Editor Power Tool for Visual Studio 2010. In a PowerPoint presentation, what we see here is we have this presentation part. This is the root part in a presentation, and it has a relationship to this slide/slide1.xml. This is the one and only slide in our presentation, and this also then has a relationship to image1.tmp, and that's where the actual image is stored. If, of course, we had multiple slides in this presentation, we would see multiple of these slide parts underneath this slides folder. But here we have only one, so let's go take a look inside this slide1.xml and look at that markup. And if you've looked at the markup for PresentationML, this will look pretty familiar. We have a CSLD element. This is the slide element. We have a shape tree. I'm going to collapse some of these as we go down through these. This NVGRP-SPPR, this is the non-visual group shape properties. And here are the visual group shape properties. And then we'll find here this pick element. This is the element that is going to contain our image. And down inside of this, we'll find the non-visual pick image properties right here. And there is this blip fill element. And underneath there, there's this blip element that has a resource ID of RID2. And that's going to be the resource ID to the image. If I look over here, I'll click on that relationship and press F4. And sure enough, we can see that it has RID2. And we can also look here and we can see that the relationship type here is this value right here. And this says that this is an image. That's what this relationship type specifies. You can find this in the OpenXML standard. This particular string is there in the standard. And if I go look at this image1.tmp, let's look at the properties for it, and we can see that the content type here is this image/PNG, and that means it's a PNG type file. We can find the full path to that part in the presentation package, and there's the part name image1.tmp. So what we can see from that is that this relationship here specifies that we have an image, and then the content type here specifies that we have a PNG part. I can come over here and I can export this value, and it wants the name. I'll give it PNG because we know it is a PNG image. There's my image1.png, and I can just come over here and double click on it, and there is that image that I got from the screen clipping. Well, let's say that I want to remove that image from that slide. What I'll need to do is I'll need to open up that slide1.xml, and technically all I need to do here is I need to delete this element, this PIC element. So then we're going to have this group in there. It's got an X form that doesn't do anything. It's got a group shape and group shape properties. All of that doesn't really matter. We can just save this. And at this point in time, if I open up test.png, our image is gone. Now, the image is still in that presentation, of course, and you have two options here. As you can see, there is this relationship here of this RID to that image, and then we can find the image over here. Option number one is that you can go through every slide and find all references to that particular image, and if there are no other references to that particular image, then you can remove the image from the package. Option number two is you can just leave the image there in the package. It doesn't do any harm except that it takes up space. I'm going back into the slide1.xml and I'm going to Control Z that so that we have our picture back in the slide. Let me show you now. We have it. There it is. And watch what happens if I copy this and I add a new slide. This is slide 2. I'll delete that placeholder and I'm going to paste that image in that second slide, and I'll save it and close it. Go back to the OpenXML package editor and it will ask me to reload the file. Now we'll be able to go in here and we can find in this presentation, now there's a relationship to slide 1 and there's a relationship to slide 2. I come down here and there's slide 1 and slide 2. And slide 1 has a relationship to media/image1.tmp. And slide 2 also has a relationship to media/image1.tmp. This image is only stored in the presentation package once. So I'm going to drag test1.pptx, drag it to the OpenXML package editor power tool. I'll go into slide 1. I'll edit the XML. I'll find this PIC element, select it and delete it. So I've gotten rid of that PIC element. And further, I am going to delete the relationship to image1.tmp. I'm allowed to do that because I now no longer have markup in slide1.xml that refers to that relationship. I could now save everything and open up the presentation, and we can see the image is gone from the first slide and it is there in the second slide. But if in the process of deleting that markup for that image in the first slide, if I went in here and deleted the node, deleted the actual file there, what we'll see now is that slide 2 has a relationship to a non-existent image. And if I save everything and try to open this in PowerPoint, it won't open. It will give me an error, as it should. The presentation is no longer valid. So when you're deleting an image, you have one of two options. One is to go through the entire presentation and find all references to that image, and if there are none, you are free to delete the part. Alternatively, you can just leave that part in there and it won't do any harm. It just takes up space in the case where nothing else refers to that image, and it will leave you with a valid presentation. That's all I'm covering in this video. Take care.